So every time you set up, it's an opportunity to get into an even better position. Hey guys, Coach Ben here, bigbenchas.com. And we're gonna show you how to warm up for a bigger arch on the bench press, and some practical techniques that I like to use as well in my bench press training. So important to note, we're gonna have a combination here of some soft tissue work, some stretching. We're actually going to go get on the bench. So I'm going to show you some of the focus points in terms of how you're setting up on how you can achieve a bigger arch. All right, because I know this is a big topic in bench pressing. You know, whether you are someone who, you know, agrees with arching big in the bench or you're not, you know, you should know how to go about increasing the arch. And the important thing here is that you're focusing on what you can do through your upper back, your T-spine, because it's not always a benefit to be able to arch through your lower back. You know, typically if you're getting a huge arch through your lower back, you know, like myself, you got probably a pretty bad anterior pelvic tilt that allows you to kind of create that range there, that mobility. And it's not necessarily a good thing, because it can definitely be a hindrance in creating good position on the squat and the deadlift. So it's really a balancing act there. You don't necessarily want to have those problems to create a big arch on the bench, plus it's probably gonna hurt your lower back. So where you're gonna wanna focus your time and effort is what you can do to really increase the extension you're getting through your upper back. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do to warm up that area is going to be this peanut ball here. We're gonna use this as self-myofascial release. And what this ball is gonna do is gonna run up the spine, our upper back, our thoracic spine, and we're going to practice extending over this peanut ball. Okay, this is a great tool. I really like it because it's very precise, runs right along those spinal erectors there. So this is a great tool. Definitely recommend getting a peanut ball. It's really just two lacrosse balls put together, but we're gonna do that right now. I'll usually start at the base of my neck, but I'll show you how I do it from my upper back right here. Okay, I'm just gonna get the ball set. Then I'm just gonna kind of aim, position it in the right spot in my back. Then when I get there, I'm gonna work down a little bit. I'm right in between the shoulder blades, about mid-back. That's where it's positioned. All right, it's digging into the sides of my spine there, so it doesn't feel uncomfortable on my spine. You know, it's not on the bone itself, it's on tissue running alongside the spine. All right, and when I'm on this spot, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna exhale forcefully. I'm going to assist in pushing my rib cage down. I wanna exhale out. My rib cage will draw down. I'm gonna try to hold this position, brace this position. And then I'm going to extend, breathe in, and I like to exhale as I extend over the peanut ball. And I'm trying to, I'm not letting my lower back take over. So if I get movement here in my lower back, that's not what I'm looking for. I wanna exhale and forcefully push my upper back towards the ground without letting my lower back peel off. And then we're just gonna run down the spine and continue to do that until we get to about mid-back. All right, guys, so now we're gonna move on to something that's a little bit more global. And by that, I mean, it's not specific as what I just showed you with the peanut ball. We have a foam roller here. And we're gonna look for something with a smaller diameter. This is a rumble roller here. It has the spikes to it for soft tissue, but you can also use a PVC, something of that manner. But we're just gonna do the same arching sequence we just did with our upper back, but we're gonna do it over the foam roller. And you might have seen this one before. This is pretty common. All right, this is a little more of a global approach. So again, exhale, get myself in a good position. Breathe in. Exhale and try to extend your upper back over the foam roller. All right, again, I'm not letting my mid-back take over. I'm not letting my belly pop up. I'm trying to keep my belly down and just use my upper back. You can even hear some little pop in there in the vertebrae. But there you go, in the foam roller, arching over that. So now we're gonna move on to an extension rotation drill. So we're gonna practice extending like we just did, but then we're gonna add in a rotational component as well. Important when you're doing this, that you stay in the upper back region. Very easy to start moving at the mid back, but have that discipline to know where that movement's coming from. All right, so I'm gonna get down, I'm all fours, sit back to my heels. One hand goes behind the head, the other hand braces. I'm gonna breathe in. I'm going to exhale and lift up. And I wanna think about pulling forward and up. I don't want to just move at my mid back. Remember, very targeted to our upper back. So I'm just trying to move at my upper back. Once I get to end range, I'm gonna start rotating. All right, this would be if I used my mid back. You know, see how much more I can create movement wise. But I wanna stay specific to where I'm going to try to get my arch in the bench press. And then of course you do the other side. All right, so now we're gonna work on a little bit of a strengthening component here. Just in a lying prone position, we're gonna work on creating that upper back extension, okay? So I can actually keep my forearms on the floor here. And what I wanna do is I wanna pretend that someone is gonna put this hot plate right underneath my chest. And I wanna extend away from it, okay? So someone has a scalding hot plate and they're sliding it underneath. I wanna get away from it. So I'm pushing through my forearms and I'm just lifting. And I'm trying to think if I had a string here, lifting through my upper back. And I'm gonna hold that. And to round it all up, I always say the best stretch for the bench is actually on the bench. So I'm gonna go through the setup here on the bench and I'm going to show you where we can potentially gain some range of motion and our arching ability, okay? So I'm gonna talk you through what I'm doing here. And this is going to be the best bang for your buck. You know, the best stretch, again, is actually going through this. So I'm gonna use the bridge to really pop our position up in the back of our neck. When I'm in this position, I'm not casually just pushing up. I am driving through the bench with my legs to drive my hips through this hip tension, this hip flexor tightness. All right, I wanna squeeze my glutes and push through that tension because that's going to allow me to get to a better position without the hip flexors pulling me down. All right, so when I'm pushing up, I'm squeezing my butt and I'm pushing through this tension. I'm feeling a lot of quad tension, hip flexor tension. I'm squeezing my butt and pushing through that. All right, when I set up onto my neck here, I'm going to grab the bar. This helps me leverage my position. So when I get my feet down, and if I didn't have this leverage, I would collapse. With this leverage here pushing against the bar, I'm able to get my foot down and keep my rib cage propped up. And I'm thinking about staying active through my upper back, kind of like when we did the extension rotation. I'm actively trying to use my back to help push my rib cage up. More the upper back than anything. Get the other foot down. Again, I'm trying to reach my rib cage up through my upper back. If I just jam up my lower back, it's not gonna feel good. So I have to have that emphasis in my mind, keep my glutes active. That'll help spare my lower back and create that arch through my upper back. Okay, and then just going through that warm up after warm up attempt, that's the best way you're gonna keep loosening up, stretch into a new position. Every time you do this setup, do it with intent. Because if you're just casually going through it and you're not pushing through that tightness, then you're not going to gain any new range of motion. So every time you set up, it's an opportunity to get into an even better position. All right, guys, there you have it. Want a bigger arch on the bench? Get to it. Coach Ben here. You know where to find me. You can meet me on the bench. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel over here. Check out the links in the description box below. You can see a video related on this topic right here, and then our latest video right there. Thanks for watching.